week, Ryan Reynolds let it slip that he is scripting. He's already reached the scripting stage of a new Deadpool movie, which would be another team up, but this time with 3 to 4 new X-Men characters. And he let this slip before he's even pitched it to Marvel. Bold move? Smart move. Let's discuss. So my bet is that Ryan Reynolds is just trying to change the conversation. He's like, bam, new Deadpool movie with more X-Men. And while Feige is too busy to greenlight another Deadpool movie right now, heck, according to the Wall Street Journal, Feige is too busy to run Marvel Studios right now, period. But Reynolds is just throwing this chum out to the fandom again in the hopes of changing the conversation. But I didn't see a lot of bites, which was interesting. I think that just shows real damage done by the Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni situation. Pre that, if Ryan Reynolds had said he was working on a new Deadpool movie, that would have lit up the internet. But now nobody cared. What was your reaction when you saw that headline? Did you see this headline? I think that the lack of reaction is for a couple of reasons. A, that Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively situation. True damage has been caused there. B, the new trend, which might also stem from A, of saying now you didn't like Deadpool and Wolverine, even though it made $1 billion at the box office. And C, everyone knows how slow the Marvel pipeline is these days. Kevin Feige's bench is deep. So it's probably going to take years, if not maybe even a decade. That seems too long. But it could take a very long time before you see a new Deadpool movie. So it's hard to get excited about it right now. Oh yeah, and D, which X-Men are we talking about here? I mean, the original Fox X-Men is what I would assume, because those are not just Deadpools, but Ryan Reynolds' contemporaries. Is he going to team up with a bunch of 20-something new X-Men? I think that's unlikely, but I think it's also perhaps unlikely that Kevin Feige, as he launches his own new X-Men, would want to greenlight a movie with the previous Fox characters to essentially compete with his new versions. But maybe he would. I mean, again, the first Deadpool movie for him made $1 billion. And as a huge X-Men fan, and because it's real slow right now, I'm going to bite. Like Jeff the Land Shark. I'm going to bite. And here's my list of X-Men and other MCU characters, because I'm going to cheat. I'm going to have fun with this. I'm going to pitch a bunch of ideas, which is what Ryan Reynolds did when he first pitched Kevin Feige for a new Deadpool movie. So I don't know why. Again, I think, that's how you do it. I think he's just talking about writing the script to change the conversation. And he's changing it for us. Let's talk about it. So I'm going to talk about an outline who I think would do well in a team-up with Deadpool in a new movie. As always, I invite you to share your thoughts, feedback, and own suggestions down below. And as long as you're interacting with this video, why not hit the like and subscribe button while you're down there? So, I gotta be honest, I don't see, by the end of this video, I have other ideas, but Hollywood likes to play it safe. And so I think that it's unlikely that you would see another Deadpool movie without Hugh Jackman's Wolverine also returning to some degree. I mean, sure, it's been there, done that, but their first team up was not only hugely successful, but Ryan and Hugh are BFFs. They're best friends. They've helped each other's careers. And, I think, again, you get nervous about changing things up. They've been very good luck charms for each other. So even if Hugh Jackman's Wolverine isn't the co-lead this time around, I definitely see him in, I would think, maybe a strong supporting role so he could be used for the advertising. But even if he just shows up a little bit, you could probably use him in the advertising. I think it would be very unlikely he wouldn't show up at least for one scene. So, but I do think that that's why Ryan Reynolds is now saying a team of 3 to 4 X-Men. Keep Wolverine and build on the success of the last film. I think Ryan Reynolds isn't thinking big enough, as you'll see again by the end of this video. But for now, we'll play along. So would Ryan Reynolds maybe just keep the team that he briefly assembled already? I'm talking X-23, Gambit, and Blade. I think we can do better than Jennifer Garner's Elektra. Sorry, not sorry. I mean, it was funny, and there was a funny Ben Affleck Daredevil joke, too, there. I mean, she worked very well. I mean, they wanted to get as many Easter eggs as they could for the last movie, and that was great. But I don't think there's anywhere to go. I mean, there's nowhere left to go there. Now, Blade might not be a Marvel Fox character, but he was a pre-MCU Marvel movie character. And he went over extremely well in the Deadpool and Wolverine movie. I had such an amazing reaction when I saw him walk out on screen. I even knew he was going to be there, but I gasped. It was amazing. Plus, audiences are now very interested in Blade with all the drama around Kevin Feige's own Blade debacle. And Ryan Coogler just added to the drama by showing Marvel up with his own vampire story, Sinners. A lot of jokes here for Ryan Reynolds. He could really have a good time. And Ryan Reynolds, by the way, continues to really sing Wesley Snipes' praises in interviews. To this day, even in the interview where he talked about doing his own new Deadpool X-Men movie, trying to get Snipes one last official outing as Blade, even if Reynolds has to write it himself. Ryan Reynolds, by the way, was able to make Channing Tatum's dream of playing Gambit come true, not just in Deadpool and Wolverine, but Tatum went over so well with audiences, he was hilarious. I don't think he should continue to be that jokey with the character, but it was incredible. From his jokes to his action, he dealt that deck of cards amazingly. And of course, he's going to be in Avengers Doomsday. What a Cinderfella story! If Tatum's Gambit continues to be well received, he'd kind of owe it to Reynolds to come back for another Deadpool movie because Ryan Reynolds is the one who made this all happen. X-23, I think we all got the feeling that Daphne Keane has a lot of gas left in the tank. She barely was able to show what she can do in Deadpool and Wolverine. And with how popular the character has become in the comics, I mean, I'm a pretty big X-23 fan these days. Don't get me wrong, her current title is pretty bad. I stopped reading it. But I loved her romance with Synch. That was a fantastic storyline and idea. And I think the character has really, they've done some great stuff with X-23. Although, so in the Deadpool and Wolverine movie, they did the nod to how the character was portrayed in Logan. I mean, she was even dressed the same. So now let's move the character forward to more the way that she's done in the comics these days. I'm talking the suit, the whole 9 yards. But I think, as I said, honestly, we can do better than this, especially after the last movie, again, made over $1 billion. That's a lot of capital to spend, unless the Baldoni situation, ate that all up. But let's think bigger. You know who I'm seeing? The Fox X-Man character that came to mind as soon as I saw this headline was Fassi, as in Michael Fassbender's Magneto. Oh, dude's barely working these days. I think somewhat by choice. But as we just saw in Black Bag, he's definitely still got it. I'd love to see him back as Magneto. Ian McKellen got the Doomsday nod, understandably. But talk about someone for Deadpool to bounce off of. Remember, what was great about Fassbender's version of Magneto was that, just like the metal he can control, he's more malleable. Like, for instance, McKellen's Magneto, he would only briefly be amused by Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool and then would quickly move on. But Fassi's Magneto, you can talk to this guy, right? I can see him being more willing to work with Deadpool for an entire movie. And also remember that Michael Fassbender can be quite funny. He has a very good comedic delivery. If we throw Wolverine in there, I mean, they already worked together in X-Men Days of Future Past, and it was fantastic. But, Magneto, of course, as we've seen in many mediums now, can control metal. So he and Wolverine are always an explosive combination. Then we all love to see Magneto with a sexy lady by his side. Typically, it's been Mystique. And I love Mystique. I couldn't be happier that Rebecca Romijn is returning for Avengers Doomsday. But this version of the character, the very quiet one, Mystique's always very serious. Even when she is able to speak more. I don't really think she fits with Deadpool and Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool. So you know who I'm thinking? You know who I'd like here? Emma Frost. And no, Ryan, you can't cast Blake Lively. I know she kind of could work as the character. I mean, visually, I don't think Blake Lively is a strong enough actress to pull off the Emma Frost character. But it would kill this idea and the movie attached to it. So no. But cast another actress, and I think this idea is amazing, especially after Emma Frost's debut, the trailer debut in Marvel Rivals. Quite the thirst trap. Yes, the entire internet was salivating. It was an amazing thing to see, and just, again, proves all of us Emma Frost fans right, and that Kevin Feige is sleeping on that character. Deadpool's humor is typically lowbrow, but the great thing about Emma Frost is that even though she's very elegant, she has no problem getting her hands dirty, or just dirty in general. Fantastic character. Yes, neither Fox nor even the MCU They kind of teased her a little bit in X-Men 97, but really, they have not capitalized on Emma Frost, which is insane, considering how popular the character is with the fandom. So debuting her in a Deadpool and Wolverine movie, I think would really give that movie a lot of sparkle. It would draw a lot of attention to it. But I don't know how well Ryan Reynolds himself could handle Emma Frost. He could obviously do a great job with the setup, the story, and some of the dialogue, but he would need an actress who could really bring a lot of her own, someone who would look out for the character, much the way, like, say, Tom Hiddleston has for Loki. You need an actress who's fierce and fabulous already. Who would you cast as Emma Frost? It's a really tough one. I'm not quite sure who to use. Don't say Sydney Sweeney. It's an obvious choice, and I'm sorry to say that, like Blake Lively, I just don't think she has the acting ability to pull the character off. She should be a good black cat, but she's not Emma Frost. So maybe Hollywood would have to maybe discover someone? I'm not sure. Again, who are you thinking for Emma Frost? But if we get another character to team up with Deadpool who's good enough, you wouldn't even need Hugh Jackman, because you would have an idea that was just so explosive. You wouldn't need Wolverine. You wouldn't need other X-Men characters. It would be the beautiful simplicity of the Deadpool and Wolverine posters, but with just another character instead of Wolverine. This is why you don't pitch a full script. You have like log lines, ideas, because, don't spend so much time writing an idea, because when you spitball with Kevin Feige, you could come up with something better, just like we're about to do right here. All right, so Tom Holland's Spider-Man. Come on, Deadpool and Spider-Man go way back in the comics. You could even say that before Deadpool liked Wolverine in the MCU and all that flirtation was happening, he had that same kind of special relationship with Spider-Man. Yes, this team up would have so much comics history, not only to lean on, but to validate it. And if Tom Holland's Peter Parker is there, surely Zendaya's MJ would at least make a cameo, and Ryan Reynolds would have so much material there to make some great meta jokes. That would just be fantastic. Holland has proven to be a very good sport. He can be very funny as well, and his goodwill and huge popularity with fans could really help Ryan Reynolds right now. So I like that idea quite a bit. But this is my favorite idea. It's so amazing. I don't even know if it's doable, but if anyone can pull it off, it's Ryan Reynolds, although again, I don't know how much pull he has these days, but this would be amazing. So what have comic book fans been hoping for since there have been comic book fans? They always want to see Marvel and DC crossovers in any space. Like, for instance, in Injustice, they're always like, Marvel characters? No matter how, it's just so implausible because of the red tape business-wise, but that never stops fans from asking for it. In fact, though, they are going to get 2 one-shots in the comic book space later this year. One's rumored to be a Batman and Wolverine team-up, in the comic book space. But how could we make this happen in the Hollywood space? It would be so hard to do, but if anyone could do it, I believe it's Ryan Reynolds. So who would be the person he teams up with? Who would be the character that he teams up with? I would go with Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn. I love this idea so much. Sure, we'd have tons of old school cameos from both Marvel and DC, prior films. Kind of like the Flash movie. I liked the Flash movie. You got to be careful. You can make jokes about it. You got to study why that didn't work. But I think that would be really great. And Ryan Reynolds would have tons of material. He already had a good time making fun of DC with Henry Cavill's cameo in Deadpool and Wolverine. And maybe Henry Cavill could show up again. That would be really great. Not in a big role, because I think the whole Henry Cavill thing is kind of like fallen away at this point. It's just taken too long. But I think at least a couple of scenes would be really, like a good supporting character, I think would really work well. And while Robbie has said she's ready now to pass the baton for Harley Quinn to another actress, she was very gracious with Lady Gaga, which was so wonderful to see. Unfortunately, that didn't end up working out for Lady Gaga or the character of Harley Quinn. But I think one last hurrah opposite Ryan Reynolds. Margot Robbie herself has proven to be a fantastic businesswoman and very strong at marketing. And I think she would agree with that. I think she and Ryan Reynolds as their trademark comic book characters, that would be an exciting combination. Harley already dated a Deadpool knockoff in the comics, which was super weak. And I don't want them to date in this movie. I don't see them as a fit that way. But I think they'd be, again, as I just said, a fantastic team up. And it would allow Robbie to end her Harley Quinn run on a high note, especially with Ryan Reynolds helping her with some of the comedic aspects. But hold on! I have one more idea, which might be even better than even those ideas. While it's still struggling a little bit at the box office, many of us have fallen in love with the Thunderbolts, and we're nervous about how long it's going to take to be able to see this team again in their own right, not just, paying homage and bowing down to Robert Downey Jr. And you know who else points and shoots? Deadpool. That's right. I would love to see him on this team, and he's already been a member of the Thunderbolts in the comics. Deadpool is also very lonely and depressed. He fits right in. There's so much material here. I could see him having fantastic interactions with each member of this team. I mean, you can see it, right? Him and John Walker. I mean, that would be amazing. And him and Val, they would have such a good time. Julia Louis-Dreyfus, of course, is a very gifted comedian. Deadpool and Sentry? Oh my gosh. Red Guardian jokes about riding Sentry, but I distracted myself with my own inappropriate joke. But Deadpool would not only do it, but make the inappropriate joke. That would just be fantastic. I mean, it's so perfect for everybody. Maybe even throw Harrison Ford's Red Hulk in there too, who I'm sure you caught on that comic book cover. He too has also been on the Thunderbolts, and I think that adding Deadpool and Red Hulk would really up the team in terms of not just powers but action. And then you could still hold back on Sentry a little bit and still have a lot of kapow for your point and shoot. Also, Red Hulk and Red Guardian, two red grumpy old men. See, the jokes just write themselves. They can grandpa it up. And that's where your Wolverine cameo could come in, because Deadpool already knows a grumpy old man. Oh my God, I love it so much. That's how you level up Thunderbolts too. That's how you get it fast-tracked after Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars. And I want to give a shout out to Florence Pugh. Pew, pew, pew. Let Deadpool make that joke. Oh, it would be fantastic. I love it. And Florence Pugh is so good with comedic delivery herself. I'm telling you, this is my favorite of the ideas. And then I like the DC crossover one the next. But that's very unlikely. But I just love it so much. I would love to see that. So who would you like to see Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool team up with for his next movie? And would you like to see him join the Thunderbolts instead of having his own film? And do you even want to see Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool again? How long of a break do you think you need? And I'm sure some of you will be mean and say forever. Aw, I like Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool. All right, share your thoughts down below, subscribe today, and of course, as always, you can check out some more videos right now.